I I cried. I wept like some grandmother.
All right. Do you love the smell of napalm in the morning? I'm going to get into Bills versus Dolphins up in Buffalo.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
The smell of napalm is all over it. Now, we have competed against the Bills in their house, but this is not those times. We have a lot of stuff against us, and I mean, you can win on any given Sunday. Let's hope there's a little Thursday in there too. So watch the game with the hope, but really, when you go through the matchups, we're a 12-point underdog, I think. So that's not good. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but 12 points is not that good. So we'll get into it here. And, you know, Dolphin fans want to tune out, but you can't. See, if you tune out, then the people in control are going to do what they're going to do, and then you're not going to be savvy enough when a new thing comes and the hopium comes and the new thing, you jump in here and you buy it again.
And I want to remember it. I never want to forget.
So you got to watch this game, and you got to understand it's a team game, and everything interlocks, and everything rises up to McDaniel, and then everything rises up to Greer. So it's key to keep all this stuff together. But as far as the game goes, the matchups aren't so hot to trot, guys. But before I get into that, like, subscribes, comments, and views keep Curtis in the biz. I know maybe you guys are pretty dour, but if you can give me a like, subscribe, or a comment, I answer a lot of comments, almost all of them, because they mean the world to me. That will help me out. Because without you, without my sponsors, without the two of you, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Heads betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, so I'm going to get into the framework. I like that word. Some people might not like that word. But we were on the field a ton for 2 games. And now we got a short week. And that's a compounding problem for the defense. I mean, for everybody, because you're getting whacked. You see Westbrook's hit last week. That was a brutal hit. But on a defense, it plays a bigger role. And so that's a very, they have it too, but they're not traveling. We're traveling. We're in their house. They're going to have the mojo from the fans. They're not like our fans that sometimes are so beaten down that they sell their tickets. Everyone's going to be there. There's going to be a Bills fan just about. Small minority Dolphins fans. So there's going to be mojo on their side. We're going to be beat up on this quick week. That's not good. When you look at the coaching matchup, my man Tommy is not a huge fan of McDermott, but McDermott is much better than McDaniel. I do think he's got a little bit off the top to make him great, but this year can prove me and Tommy wrong. But the coaching staff is completely, I mean, maybe you want to say Weaver's pretty good, if that's what your flavor is. So they got the coaching edge, they got the physical edge, the travel edge. And when you get into it, it's only 2 weeks. It's hard to look at stats, but they're second in rushing, second in points, and second in passing. And all that stuff is gone against the Ravens defense, which is pretty good. And the Jets defense, or however you want to cut it, is at least average, if not better. And so that's kind of something we have to hold on to. And our defense is a disaster. I'll get into it here. You can see the graphic here, the graphic. So we're going to be without Benito Jones, big Benito Jones. He's not a good player, but he's a critical piece. Phillips is going to be playing inside. They got 15 there, but it's not going to be him. This is from PFF. Don't take the grades as anything other than placeholders. But that'll be Jordan Phillips, who for Bills fans, he's pretty darn good for a young 20-year-old rookie. Seal, you can see here, he's had a tough season so far, but he's still good. Robinson had the knee scare, but his problem is he can't stop the run. And he's had a sack, but the pressure hasn't been elite this season so far. It's not all him, guys. This secondary is not good. Chubb, he's had his sack. He looked okay in pass rush, terrible in run block, a run stop. And then you got Jalen Phillips over there too. But then behind them, Brooks has played it awesome. Brooks is a great player for us. I love Brooks. Out from 3 yards per carry, was really high on him. I thought it was okay on him. I think I would go with Al's eval over mine. Dotson, though, he was like 70 flies in the ointment last week. He was terrible. Huge departure from last week to this week. Fitzpatrick's been playing solid. But Jack Jones, he's hit and miss in the coverage. And he's not good in run stop. Marshall on nickel, he's playing terrible. And a lot of concerns I had going into preseason is playing out, sadly. Now, Douglas played pretty well in his zone, but there's going to be a little difference. He's going to be taxed if we're going to play certain defenses to get to that mid to late clock, and that's where he struggles. Now, looking at the Bills, their offensive line's not getting a great grade with Edwards and McGovern and Torrance, but they went against a stellar front in the Ravens and a pretty darn good interior and front by the Jets. So that, yeah, it's all about matchups. But Brown, Dawkins, really, really good. I think from a Bills fan's perspective, you want to see more from Torrance. He had a pretty good rookie season. Sophomore, he had a slump. Now it's his third year. You're going to need to see more production out of him. They got Kincaid. Tight ends have been hurting us. And the Bills really, they spent a big pick on him. I wasn't too hot on a pick, not for the player, but because you had Knox there as well. I thought you could have gone all directions. He had a good first season, but it's kind of got soft after that. But this is a game where Knox and Kincaid can really do damage. Palmer's a steady Eddie. Shakir is one of the best slot guys in the league, and Coleman is starting to pick it up. And, obviously, then you got the two big stars, which is terrible for the Dolphins. Dolphins have been stopping the run, but look at the leverage. Look at the boxes they've been bringing. Look at the blitzes they've been bringing. And if you let Cook into that secondary, you're going to get cooked. And then the problem after that is we've been having problems with the mobile quarterback. Quarterbacks can get time and then test that secondary. And Allen is as good as it gets. I got heat from Dolphins fans a couple of years ago saying he was better than Tua. I think there's a lot less of that now. But they've got the right framework. They've invested in their offensive line. They run the football successfully. They put Allen under center sometimes, not always in shotgun. And then you kind of done the right things with the receiving group to an enough degree where, as Tommy, I quote Tommy a lot because this is his team, everybody gets fed. And Allen just does it all. He can run, he can throw, he can make the big plays, he's clutch, he's tough, he's a leader. And I just don't see how this defense, because, guys, remember, I had said people were cheering that Brooks punched Dotson in, I guess it was against Chicago maybe. But to me, you can get in a guy's face. You might even shove him or grab him. But when you throw a punch, that's not good. There's a fracture here on the psyche of this defense. And Weaver's kind of screwed. He's brought about the 16th best pressure in the league, but he's had to blitz 50 and 60% of the time. And you cannot do that this week because you will get feasted on. So I just don't see any way that we can keep them from scoring tons of points.
It's impossible through words to describe. You do not know what horror means.
So it's going to come down to our offense versus their defense. And in truth, guys, there is flaws to the Bills' defense. And if you want to have any hope, there's opportunities for us to score. But I want to preface that because I like to preface things and give context. Patriots last week. I'd never seen something like this before. I've never seen the defenses we've played. And people will say, oh, that's because of Tua. Maybe in part. Oh, that's because of McDaniel and the scheme. In part. I would say in the offensive line in part. But what they did last week, and I did a whole film on it, they played a 40 defense, 4 down linemen, spread them wide, sometimes wide 9, and played one gap, shooting the gaps, saying, screw those offensive linemen. We don't care if they get to the linebackers. And then the linebackers, if you're going to do that, you figure the linebackers would creep up or take a step up on plays. I think I saw 2 plays where the linebacker stepped up. The rest of the game, they were reading and dropping. And that is an insult of insults. I said on Steve Malloy's podcast, to bring that defense out and blitz 10% of the time with everything I just told you is akin to you walking down the street with your girlfriend and somebody walks up to you, spits in your face, slaps you, throws you on the ground, looks at your girl, grabs her and says, that's my girl. And you go, well, okay. It's that level of disrespect. And the Patriots defense their secondary isn't as good as the Bills. It's not stellar. Benford, I think, is really good. But they got some struggles. I'm not sure if Milano's playing. I think he might. I'm not sure if Oliver's playing. I think he might. But they got Bosa. They got Rousseau. And Daquan's been playing pretty good. And they got Walker, the other kid they drafted. So that front is going to be on sort of par, maybe even worse, because they got quick edges. They're going to line them up wide to take away our outside runs, to take away our screens. They got the linebackers who are not slow. They can drop to that second level into the middle to take away the middle of the field. And they're going to play probably a lot of what we saw. Low blitzing, one technique, wide alignment, high linebackers. And so the thing that we should hope for is that Achane gets less stuff than Ollie. If you want a chance to really find a way to win this game, Ollie's going to have to run some more. I don't like the matchups with Keon Smith and Brewer or even Borum, although he's okay because he's so big in inside zone. But Jonah Savaiinaea is playing terrible, and I showed you. That foot comes up and comes down. Butch Barry, as Greg Main said, it's coaching malpractice. That's insane. Your foot comes up and down the same spot, and then you take your first step. How is it still here? I don't know. I don't trust the inside blocking, but I do trust Ollie to at least try to hit them and use his strength to maybe change this leverage.
Smells like victory.
But it's going to take a lot of carries and a lot of patience, and it's going to take our defense to limit the Bills on offense. And McDaniel has very little patience, very little intestinal fortitude. So it really does put us in a bind offensively. I think that we do match up well with them in the receiver department. Can we get the time? I don't know. Can Tua read? I don't know. I think the game's moving very, very fast for him. And some people say, Tua sucks. He can't. Donald, remember against the Jets, says, I'm seeing ghosts. Mayfield was terrible at one point. Goff, he was a loser. Daniels, Crazy Eyes Daniels. This game is so complex, so intense. It's very easy for guys to start getting out of their confidence zone and start narrowing it. Is he dumb as a box of rocks? I don't think so. I don't think he's a genius. But this thing has been so designed and in a specific way, like the 80s Dolphins, and he's not capable of doing that. And with the pressure of carrying this offense, with the pressure, literally, the quick throws and all the other stuff and the defensive looks, however you slice it, he can't handle it. So I do think there will be opportunities. Maybe McDaniel comes out with a genius game plan. Maybe our defense holds them up, but I don't see it. I think in some ways, you go back to our roster and you're like, I mean, a lot of people are telling you, oh, every guy's going to be awesome. And a lot of those guys aren't. But if you're an NFL GM, should you expect the players we have to perform? I think it was pretty clear we were going to struggle, especially with Daniels going down, Jackson going down for the fourth time, I think, this year so far, and then losing guys like Kohu. So there was some bad luck, but when you peel even that back, this was a roster that was ripe for not good. So you got to really ask yourself, are they delusional or are they genius in setting up a tank? I don't know. But however you slice it, we've got to watch this thing. Not just this game, this whole season. And we've got to we got to understand football better so we understand the whys and try to find some players that we like. So if the next GM comes and he's keeping Eichenberg, we're at least all clear this guy is not the right GM. But if we see this GM come and start pulling out the pieces that we see because we've been watching the film aren't good, then if Greer goes, that's a whole other story. I don't even know. Oh, gosh. Anyway, so that's the point, guys. Enjoy the game. I think it will be a little bit of a game early, but the Bills have too much talent, and we're too much disarray to keep it close. So that's my take. Bills fans, I hope you enjoy. I hope we stick it to you. But I will say this. If you destroy us, I also might love you because it might spell the end for McDaniel. Will spell the end for McDaniel and maybe the end of Greer. And that's the best thing you guys could do for us. So for me, it's a win-win situation. We pull a miracle off to screw you. And then if not, maybe we're fast-tracking the end to this terrible, terrible regime. So good luck, Bills fans. Dolphins fans, try to hold on to your sauce. Try to drink as much as you can and enjoy. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.